Deadpool 2 is the much-awaited sequel to the surprise hit of 2016 that introduced the movie-going audience to the real, true Deadpool, and not the one from that shit X-Men Origins movie. In this film, Deadpool is forming a team of superheroes known as X-Force, and their mission is to protect a young mutant from a time-traveling mutant called Cable. Before I get into this review, since I haven't reviewed the first Deadpool movie on my channel, which I probably will a little bit down the line, I will at least give you a quick opinion so that you know where I stand as far as the original, because I absolutely love the original Deadpool movie. I thought it was awesome, just straightforward, simple, and funny. So to start off with that, let's go ahead and start the review with my pro section. While Tim Miller was the director of the first Deadpool and did a fantastic job, we have a new director for Deadpool 2 in the form of David Leitch, who is known for co-directing the first John Wick movie, as well as Atomic Blonde, and he's well known for directing great action sequences, and Deadpool 2 is definitely no exception. There are some great sequences in this movie, including a car chase that actually rivaled the one from the first one. One thing that I love about Deadpool in film is that unlike other films like, okay, let's take some of the MCU films like Captain America Civil War, a movie that I love. While the story is that of a political spy thriller, at its core, Winter Soldier is still a comic book superhero movie. And a lot of other comic book movies are like that. I mean, what is it, Ant-Man, even though it's got the story of a heist film, is still a comic book movie. The Dark Knight, while it's like a detective slash kind of mafia story, it's still a superhero comic book movie. What sets Deadpool apart from other superhero movies is that Deadpool and Deadpool 2 are primarily comedies with superhero elements in there. And this film actually made me laugh really hard. However, and I will count this next part as the first con, it's not as funny as the first film. There's definitely jokes that I think are funnier in this movie than the first movie, but the first one was more consistently funny to me, and that's mostly because they take a lot of time to throw in these serious moments that slowed the film down for me. Now back to the pros. I will just say that the performances are really good. I liked Josh Brolin as Cable. I do wish that I had gotten more of him, but I did like him nonetheless. I also loved Domino and Zazie Beetz' characters, her performance, I don't know why I said that, and how her power is basically a domino effect, which I guess makes sense with what her name is, but I didn't really know about her in the comics. The first time I ever heard of Domino was in the Deadpool video game that came out a few years ago. But, of course, again, the standout of Deadpool is Deadpool himself, played by Ryan Reynolds. And I'm sure that many other critics on this platform, as well as any other platforms, they've gone through a list of actors that were born to play superheroes, like RBJ as Iron Man, Jackman as Wolverine, and how Reynolds is in that discussion. I'm not going to go into depth on that subject in order to not repeat something that somebody has already said, but I will say that I actually do agree with that consensus. He was born to play Deadpool. The way that the X-Force has been marketed, with scenes of Terry Crews and others doing somewhat interesting things and kind of like, okay, it's pretty cool, it made me have certain expectations for the entire team. But there's this one sequence involving all of them that came completely out of left field, and I absolutely loved every minute of it. It was hilarious and amazing, and there was no way anybody could have guessed that this was going to happen. Also, Deadpool 2 has, in my opinion, a much better opening credit sequence than the first one that is set up to poke fun at another film franchise's opening credits, which you'll understand when you see it. And it has hands down the greatest mid-credit scene I've ever seen. I will not say anything about it except that it's awesome. However, I am going to use this pro and go into the con section, because there is a little something that I have to complain about. Since I already covered con 1 earlier, let's go ahead into number 2. Right when the mid-credit scene starts, a narrative choice that is made kind of redoes something that happens earlier in the film, and I'm not going to spoil anything, but the narrative choice that happened earlier in the film actually added a lot of emotional weight to Deadpool's character, and when that happened, I just sat there thinking, okay, if it's a joke, then it's not too bad. Not great, but not bad. However, if this was really if they're actually going with this, and this actually is happening, then really for me, the emotional weight that was felt at the beginning of the film doesn't matter in the long run, and actually made a large chunk of the film pointless in my eyes, and it really annoyed me. And again, what the hell? I'll check that later. Again, it's gonna be based off of your own opinion if you think it's funny or not. I just thought it was pointless. And touching on the emotional weight of the one scene that I will not spoil, the film tries to be serious and focus on Wade Wilson as a person with feelings and emotions, which there's nothing wrong with that in the slightest. It's just that whenever those moments came up, it felt like the film kind of dragged a bit, and I would actually begin to lose a bit of interest with the tonal change. From the first trailer, when they mentioned that Cable was coming to kill or coming from the future to kill a kid, and Deadpool has to protect the kid, immediately I thought, oh cool, they're actually going to be kind of parodying the Terminator franchise, and that could actually be really cool. I can see that opening up quite a few jokes. But from what I noticed and remember, they don't once allude to Terminator, which means that they were actually trying to be serious with this, and maybe that's not something to put on a con listing, but because the first Deadpool made fun of cliches, I was really expecting that the sequel would make fun of itself doing a cliche, and since it didn't, it actually lowered itself in quality for me. And again, that's probably the wrong way to look at it, but again, that's just my opinion. In the end, Deadpool 2 is a really fun time at the theater. I did enjoy myself, and I definitely recommend that you guys see it if you haven't already, but in my opinion, it really is not as great as the first film. There are some aspects that were done better, there's no doubt about that, but still, I left a bit disappointed. And that's where I will end this review. If you enjoyed the video, please do not hesitate to hit that like button, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button so that you can keep up to date with everything that's going on in the channel. Thank you for watching, and farewell until the next video.